Hey guys. Okay, so I have been tearing up my studio. Whoever came up with this organize in January thing, I'm just saying it's not looking pretty, but it's looking much better. But I just have to ask, when you go to clean out your closet, do you take everything out of the closet and then itemize it and put it back in? Because that's what I did to my cutting table. And poor Win, this is why we call him CEO, carry everything out, because he actually helped carry down probably, well, if you ask him, he'll probably say 150 bolts. I would just say maybe a handful, but it was about 25 trips for both of us. So it's looking better. If you saw my post yesterday on Instagram, you would know it was a huge hot mess yesterday. I've decided to organize the thread, that's next. I decided to organize the fabric by type. So when I'm finished, I'll show you. Right now, I will just share a photo on Instagram when we're not live today. Sound good? Well, I don't know. I always do that, though. I bite off way more than I can chew, just like when I ripped down the wallpaper in the living room and Wynn ended up having to paint it. A poor guy, he does deserve a medal, but I do thank him because it's looking good in here. So this is how I organized. And I'm just looking as I glance because you can't see it at this moment, but you'll be able to next week. I have 6 areas. If you remember my super long cutting table, there's like an upper area and a lower, and it's all bolts. Most of it's rolls, and I'm actually moving some of the bolts to rolls because then they will all match. So I've organized the top left side, which is a huge section, just for knits. And then the middle section, top and bottom, is all guess. Guess, my favorite. I know you'll guess it because if you watched yesterday, that's all I could talk about. You would have thought I was going to go make a pair of silk pajamas in 3 seconds. Yes. So, yes, S-I-L-K, silk. Got to make sure I can still spell after running up and down those stairs a gazillion times. So the middle section is all silk. So the top area, and I'm looking like you can see this, but you can't. You're just going to have to picture. So there's a huge section here. The top right is all silk chiffon. The top middle is silk charmeuse, and the top left is all the printed silk charmeuse. That's like the coveted fabric, right? And then on the bottom, on the left hand, I have to look, on the left whole side is crepe de chine, which is what I use a lot for lining or blouses, but mostly lining. Then in the middle, it looks like it's all white fabrics. Most of it's silk. There's a few pieces that are not silk. I think I have a couple bolts of rayon in there, but I like to keep all the white together so no other fabrics, not that it's going to rain in here, but nothing else will bleed onto the white because that would be bad. And then to the far right on that section are the silk dupiones, the silk shantung, some of the decorative silks. It looks like there's silk taffeta, anything like that in there. A lot of silk. All right, and then go to the further right, and the top side there, I've turned that section into all bolts because you can't really see that section very much anyways. That's kind of the, well, it doesn't have to be as pretty, I should say. So the top section are all the knits that I use all the time. Like, let's guess, navy, black, navy, black, navy, black. I think there's a red, and then navy, black. And they're all rayon knits. It looks like I have Annabelle knits over there. The new knit that I'm starting to carry, I'm just waiting for another shipment for our next fabric sale. I have a few laces in there and just a lot of knits, jersey knit, anything like that. That's all on the top. And those are all bolts, so I can fit a little bit more in there. And then on the bottom, which you'll hardly ever notice, but I'm still trying to make it look pretty, I've got my bolts of muslin fabric, interfacing, sometimes if I get a really good deal on cheap fabric, maybe it was cut off grain or it just, like you would never wear anything with that fabric, I'll use that as my muslin fabric as well. So I have some cheap knits down there and interfacing, just the stuff that you need, like that you got to have that isn't so pretty. So that's it. Oh, wait, I forgot the bottom left, which you'll see next week. I'm still working on. It's not as pretty, but it has denim and it has, oh, yeah, some of those tweeds that I got in, that's going down there. I love those tweeds. Anything that's pretty that I can just pet when I walk by. And then as I sell it, it goes. How's that sound? So the next, I'm just going to give you guys a heads up. In about, I don't know, 3 weeks, I think it is. I'm just waiting for some things to come into place, and then I'll fill you in on the rest. But I'm going to be having a huge fabric stash sale. So I always do one for the Fashion Sewing Club. Sometimes it's every month, sometimes it's a few pieces every week, but I'm having a big one. Yeah, for the whole wolf pack. So that would include you too. So you'll just have to wait to see what happens, but you can mark your calendar for about a month from now and I'll fill you in on details. It'll be pretty fun. All right, so today what we're working on is, sorry about the bouncing camera, I just finished sewing this top and I'm wearing the Lacy. That's the Lacy. And I'm going to take you there and show you, see if I can get the right, here we go. I'm going to cut out the sleeves. I'm making another one out of lace. So this top is so great because I can wear it for, let's see, wear it with my leggings for working out if you're going to carry 25 loads of fabric downstairs or more. And then if I'm carrying out packages, I don't know. I love this top and I can wear a jacket over it. But, you know, sometimes when I have all the lights on in here and I'm filming or I'm running around, it gets hot. And then I can just layer on this one. So it comes with sleeves. So I thought the next one I would make will be this one here out of lace. And so many of you asked, how do I cut lace if the lace stretches not the width of the fabric? Instead, it's stretching like the length of the fabric. So I'm going to cut that out, show you how to do that, and give you a few tips on that. I also found a piece of velvet, and I want to get your opinion. Is this going to be too much? See if you can see it from here. I'll just take you over there real quick. All right. Is this velvet? Here's the lace that I found, and I just ordered another bolt, so there's a little bit more of this. Not much. Almost everybody in the fabric stash sale last week got their fabric. I still have a few more emails to send out, but I think everybody except for maybe 2, and that was because the silk ran out. But so this is the lace. It's called champagne or tan or whatever you want to call it, but I think it's champagne. Isn't it beautiful? But I want to turn it into more casual. So does it match? My big question is, does this lace match this at all? Because if not, I'll just find another fabric. I think it's kind of, I'm going to kind of go with maybe, I'm not as excited as I was when I started this project today. So here's the velvet. It's, let's see, make sure I got the right side going down. All right, so this is the stretchy side. It's just not the same hue, I guess I would say. Hue? Le pew, whatever you want to call it. I think it's off. And as the brighter it gets in here, like with the sun coming out, this kind of looks like a really bad refashion project, if you know what I mean. So I'm rethinking this. I love this velvet. So I might just still do this and maybe do a sheer sleeve. I don't think I have any brown though. Maybe something that has embroidery on it for the sleeve. And this, to make it more casual, maybe I'll just use a rayon knit that's a similar color. Actually, I think this is the right side, but I'm still going to cut the sleeves for you to show you how this works. All right. So first, before I go there, let's take another look at what I was working on when I was late to our party. I wasn't really late. I just was sewing a top and it wasn't quite finished for me to put it on. So I'll take you back over there. Okay, so this is Karina's fault. I'm just blaming this on you, Karina. Many of you made something out of this fabric, but I forgot about it. It was stuck underneath a couple of other bolts. And when I saw you do this with leggings, I was like, this is so cute. So I reversed the pattern a little bit. So I put, instead of lace, I just used 2 tones of fabric. So I used the black stuff that I have leggings out of for the side back. And use this here, and then for the upper shoulder part, I used black again. And then the front is just all of this, and then here. So hold on, I'll grab the neckline, and you tell me what you think. All right. So here is the shiny part. So that the sleeves, I'm going to have a tank out of. And so I'm going to use black for the binding. All right, before I do that, though, I want to give you a few tips for fitting this top. And then I'm also going to use black for, these are obviously the 2 armholes, but it'll give you an idea. I'm going to use black for the neckline. I'm just going to pin that into place. Now, the pattern is a tank top, but you could also put sleeves on it. What if you want more of a racerback style? That's what I'm going to work on today. So let's just say this piece was the neckline, which it's not. It's the armhole, but you'll at least get an idea of the color. Looks cool, huh? All right, and then this will be the sleeve. So see, I think there's enough contrast there that this is really a fun fabric. So that fabric came back upstairs today, and I'm working on mixing it up with some leggings. I think it'd be really fun. All right, so here's a quick fitting tip for you. When you put this top on, before you sew the sides together, try it on. If the top pushes towards your back, and some people had mentioned that about the Linda tunic or other patterns you've sewn, not mine, but other brands, make sure you try this on. And if it's pulling too much, you might have to cut this a little bit lower. Maybe this isn't riding in the right spot. So once you have the top together, you can do a lot of fun things. Now, what about if I want more of a racerback style? Well, I don't want my bra to show, but I wouldn't mind having this cut back just a little bit. This is how I do it. Grab yourself a pair of fabulously sharp scissors, and we'll start just right. See, I'll start. Can you see that okay? Or do you want me to cut this way so you can see? Oh, here's something. Now, this dress form is not fit to myself right now. It's just a dress form I threw the top on. So it doesn't have my exact measurements, but if you get gaping in here, gapping in your armholes, you need a full bust adjustment. And if you need to learn about that, we did a knits class 2 weeks ago. You can still access it. If you already took the class, you can access it for free. If not, you can still take the class. We showed you how to fix that. That's not what you want. But this is not fit to me, so it should be fine. All right, so I'm just going to start. Why don't I start in the back? I want this to be more of a racer style. So you can come over as far as you want to. I'm going to just trim. I even trimmed through that little section here. It'll be fine. Now here's the key. Whatever you trim off, this whole piece here that I trimmed off, keep that. And I'm just going to pin it to this side here. I'll just throw a couple pins in there to hold that in place, because then I can make sure it matches on both sides. Now, when you're turning it into a racer back, one thing that you want to do is make sure that when you're cutting around here, don't cut too low, because that will adjust other areas than your center back. And then in the front, if you want this to come out a little bit more in the front, I'll just go ahead and cut that. Bring this right here so you can see. There. And then I'll pin this one over here to remind myself to cut those evenly. The other thing you could do is just baste your sides together, cut one of the armholes, and then lay your fold your fabric in half on top of each other, and then match it that way and cut with a rotary cutter. So that's another option. So here's my new, this is the old side. See how wide it is? This is the new side. And then, I don't have my glasses on. Whoever just texted me. And then this is this side. Let me check and make sure you guys, I didn't lose you guys on something. Hold on a second. I always tell you guys to text me if something's wrong, but I do not have my glasses on. How do you like that? Oh, thanks, guys. Well, there's not much I can do when it's live, but I think I'll try to. I'll take care of it. I'll take you back over to the lace, and I'll take care of the our little troll buddy. Thanks, guys. You just gotta love it when somebody is so bored they gotta hang out with us, right? Well, we're not boring, but I think I deleted it. Thanks, girls. All right. So, yeah, by the way, Julie can't help that. Nobody can fix it when it's live, not till after. I can sometimes do it if it's okay, but oh well, whatever. Maybe they're making a tank top. Can't wait to see it. But thanks for the heads up. That's why I love my watch. All right, so I got it, guys. No worries. So before I go back and cut the fabric out, I got to give kudos. I only had time to flip to the group quickly today, but I got to share this. Clovis, I don't know if you're in here, but this Linda tunic version is awesome. I love it. It is so stinking cute on you. So since I'm here, I might as well just bring that up. Yeah. Perfect. Very beautiful. I think she had another photo of it too. There it is hanging. Love the fabric. She said the front was a little too low, so she added this little panel right here, which is very great idea. So anyways, I have to share that. All right, so are you guys ready to go cut some lace? And if there are any more friends, just ignore them and I'll take care of it at the end. Thanks. Thanks, Susan and Melody, though, for the message. All right, so there's the top. And let's go cut some lace. That's kind of funny. Yeah, I love the watch, but I don't, it doesn't have a large enough text. Is that what we have to say? All right, so here's my pattern. So I'm going to cut the sleeve out of the lace. So the first thing I do is check how long my sleeve is. This fits fine. But this is my hemline right here. So I'm going to fold that up. Now, if you have to hem your sleeve shorter or longer, then you just have to just cut off your hem allowance or turn it up. That's what I'm doing right here. Okay. So here are my pattern pieces. So you can see actually the center back piece is the one that's suggested to be sewn out of lace. I switched mine up and just used different fabrics. So I used black for the side and then here. And then here is the front. Here's the front lace inserts, which would go up in here. And then we have the back shoulder. So any of these, even though if it says fabric or fabric, you know, you can switch these around. It's just suggestions for you. All right, I'm going to move that to the side. Okay, this fabric is so dainty. This is the selvage right here. This is the part that I want to use for my hem. But that would mean I'd have to cut my pattern going a different direction. Usually, just fold this in half for a second. Usually, you would have your selvages together. Here's my fold, and you would cut with your sleeve going down, right? But this way stretches, this way not so much. So instead, for this lace project, and I'm only going to do one layer at a time. You should really only cut one layer of lace at a time, but I'll lay them together just so you can see this. Let's go to the hemline. Boy, this stuff is so hard to tell which side is the right side. Here it is. The right side has just a little more sheen to it. All right. This was the last piece that I was able to get before I ordered a few more bolts. So this is not on my website. I have gray, like a silvery gray and white lace on my website right now. The black sold out. I think the teal, there's maybe 2 yards of teal left and maybe a yard of this left. But I'll put this on later. So decide where you want your lace to go. Why don't I put this underneath? Decide where you want these to go on your sleeve. Those are your little scalloped edges, which means you don't have to hem the top, which means that's fabulous. See, I'm trying to decide if you guys can see better this way. I can never tell with some of these cameras. And if you put your sleeve underneath, then you can kind of line up depending. Maybe you have a bigger pattern than this on your lace, or maybe your lace is a little bit different. So what I'm doing is I'm lining up my scalloped edges right here at the end, making sure the fabric is nice and flat. Now, I want to just take something into consideration. If these are my sides, make sure that you have one of the scallops in the center. You don't want to cut one sleeve with the scallops moved over. So I'm kind of anal about stuff like that. So if you would just go like this, it looks like there's that much space and that much space between the last lace. Then you'll know that they match. Make sense? All right. Now I could use scissors. If you're going to use scissors on this, use serrated. If not, you can use a rotary cutter. Now, I don't remember if I grabbed a good rotary cutter. Let me just see. This is how you can tell. Cut a little bit. Oh, it's coming apart. Good, good. Now, what kind of seam are you going to use? I'm just going to use a serged edge, but if you're going to use a French seam, this pattern has really thin seam allowances, 3/8 of an inch. If you're going to use a French seam, then you're going to have to give yourself a little bit of extra room. But with lace, I cut right outside the pattern, just by like 1/8 of an inch, just a hair. And just cut around. You can see why I like cutting with the rotary cutter on this. I've got a few little snags here, so it's not totally great. That's why I never lift my pattern up until I pull this away and make sure that I don't have any snags. Now, if you do have any of these, you need to cut those. I'll just run the rotary cutter back over because I think I carried my scissors over. Here they are. I always leave my pattern laying down because if you get any snags like this and you don't trim these off, what happens is it can really mess up your fabric. These are super sharp scissors. I just run this along the edge and then it's gone. All right. Now, what about your notches? I usually do not mark my notches in lace. If you're going to, you can just use thread. Just use a needle and thread, right? And then up here, I always like to mark my shoulder notch and these two. So you have an option. You can just stick a pin right there, which I doubt you're going to be able to see this little white pin. And I need to press this a little bit too. But that's the shoulder notch. And the odds of that staying in are pretty small. But if you're very careful, it might work. You could use a clip, but a clip you can't tell the exact shoulder notch. So sometimes I'll just use this as a guide. You can use thread tacks, meaning just thread your needle and mark these. But if I lay this flat like this until I go to sew with it, it's all ready to go. So now I'm just going to pretend that we've sewn this together. I'll just throw a couple pins in here without pinning myself, hopefully. That's what we try not to do. All right, here you go. Isn't that going to be gorgeous? I love this. Now I need to decide what to wear this with. What color should I use? Now, if I use this velvet, the one that I thought would match, I just have a feeling it's not that great of a match. I mean, it will, but it's kind of just not what I was thinking. So instead, I'm probably going to try to find, I don't know. Maybe I'll leave it up to you guys. I really wanted to use some velvet up, but some other options, let's take a look. All right, other options. What else could we use? Well, I wouldn't put it with this top here, but if I had a t-shirt, I put the pins. Don't do this at home, kids. And guess what? I just heard the shoulder one fall out, but I'm just trying to show you something. All right, so if this is my sleeve, what would be something that would be great to match this? I have some rayon knit would be fine. Oh, I got it. I got it. It's downstairs, so you'll just have to wait. I have this, it's like a silk jersey knit, very similar to the top that Karina showed in Fashion Sewing Club, but the drapey neck, maybe, well, I don't want to change the whole pattern, but that fabric, that's what I bought the fabric for, but it would match this beautifully. So anyways, that's how easy it is to cut lace. And if I step back, you can see how the bottom, the hem's all finished. So you don't actually need as much fabric either because you're cutting sideways to sideways. You just have to make sure that you have enough length for your sleeve. Now, I've got pretty long arms, and if I can cut length to length, I think you can too. But if you can't, then you would just have to cut one and then turn your pattern over and cut the other. Any questions on that? I saw somebody asking earlier about sleeves. They had cut the, let's see if I saw on here. I think they'd cut the Delilah, and they said the sleeves were way, way, way too long. So by the way, the Delilah pattern has 3 sleeve lengths: short, 3/4 inch length, and then long, and then the cuff. And the cuff actually goes with the 3/4 length sleeve, if I'm remembering correctly. So if you put that with the long, you would have sleeves like as long as your leg, or maybe my legs. I don't know. It depends whose legs you're measuring. The good news is it's an easy fix. If you did sew it like that, all you have to do, because you've got so much extra room, just cut that cuff off. Figure out how long you want your cuff to be. I had mine scrunched a little bit, so maybe you want to cut your cuff shorter and then figure out how long you want the sleeve to attach to it and pin it together and resew it. No ripping out. That's what we call a bonus. Oh, thanks, Joanne. So I guess we'll have to find that fabric, and maybe I'll post a photo and just have you guys decide what you think. Silk jersey knit. The silk jersey knit, Lorraine, is kind of a champagne color. It's a rich tan. So I actually think it's the same color now that I'm looking at this. Other options would be to just go total contrast and use, I have a black velvet. I have some printed velvets, but I'm just thinking that's going to be too much with the lace. It's going to look like, whoa, you got a lot going on there. Usually when I add 2 different fabrics, I like one to be a little crazy and one to be a little toned back. If they're both crazy, sometimes it just gets a little bit much to wear. I'm just glancing to see if there's any other. No, not offhand. Although I do have one idea. Hold on. Go back and take a look at my shirt for a second. What about no, this is a little bit too crazy too. This, I think I'm just going to make a tank. I'll bring it over to you. Okay. This is not going to work with the lace, but I got to show you it. I just found it. Oh, actually, I just got it maybe a month ago, but I forgot to bring it out because I wanted to make a tank top for the holidays. So this is a little wild, isn't it? This is a knit. This will be in the next fabric stash sale. And the back side is solid. And look at the stretch on this. That is like amazing stretch. So, I mean, it doesn't mean you have to have your top skin tight. That's not where I was going. It just means it's going to be really comfortable. So this, because it has like a few different lines on it, I would do this as a tank top, but that's definitely not a good match for it. Maybe black lace would look good, except I don't think I have any more of the black lace. So this is a fun fabric. This is a gold metallic. I did find this lace in my stash. I think somebody had asked me about this a while ago too, and I couldn't find it. Guess what? It was under all those bolts of fabric. So this is that snakeskin lace. Now, this lace is different. This one has the scalloped edge. This one does not. So you can see I've already cut a top out of this. Very little stretch, very little stretch. So this one you would cut just like a regular sleeve because there's no scalloped edges on the edge. And you'd also have to take into account there's no stretch on here. So the Bella sleeve would be fine, or you would want to go up 1 or 2 sizes just so you had enough room in your arm to get this on. Because lace is really fragile. If it's super skin tight, what happens? It pulls the fabric and it doesn't look good. So this is another one. That one would look good with black velvet. I don't know. I have a feeling by the time I'm finished, we're going to have like, I don't know, 15 of these tops made. Some long sleeve, some short sleeve, you know, something like that. What hem would you use with that one, Susan? That's a great question. So that one, I actually have a couple of things made out of that I've made in the past. And I would just do a couple of different options. You could do a really narrow overlock stitch, like a not rolled hem. Rolled hem would not look good with that because it would kind of make it look kind of bad. But a rolled hem would be fine. I would use the woolly poly thread in the loopers so it was a little thicker, so it would look nice. Or just a simple folded hem. Fold over once and twice and stitch it. It would make a nice, it makes a nice finish. You can't really tell that it's a hem, but it gives it a nice, it would just be straight then at the bottom. Don't you love it when you find treasures? I do love it when I find treasures. Sorry, I moved my mouse. I keep clicking on hitting the camera. So that's what I would use with the snakeskin one. I would just use a double rolled hem. And you know, if I take you over there, I don't think I have anything on the iron, but let me just show you real quick. I keep hitting the wrong one. Here you go. I'll show you. On this one, let's just say this was the bottom of your hemline. I would fold it under once, maybe 1/2 of an inch, and then fold it under again. Give it a good pressing. And I wanted you to look at this. You can't really tell that that's folded at all. I would use a straight stitch for the hem because there isn't, you know, there's no stretch. So you could use a straight stitch. I would go with a lighter color because the lighter will blend in more than if you used a black or dark gray. And use a stitch length of about 2.5 to 3.0 would be fine on this. You could also turn it up once and use the double cover hem. That would look fine too. But I think the single line, if you roll it up twice, that would look really nice because you won't be able to tell. But either way, so with the cover hem, I would fold it up once and do the cover hem. With just a straight stitch on your sewing machine, I'd fold it twice. I would not use a twin needle on that one because I know sometimes I say if you don't have a cover stitch, use a twin needle. Not in this application because you don't need the stretch. That's why. Yeah, no, it's not noticeable at all. Isn't that great? All right, so what do we have? How much heat for this type of fabric? Oh. Too bad I don't have anything on the ironing board. Do you guys want to see the iron? I'll show you how hot you can make this fabric. Well, this fabric's hot anyways, literally, but I'll go press it for you and show. All right? So I'll just give me 1 second. What do you want to look at while I'm fixing this? You want to look at the fabric. How's that? Where did it go? Here you go. You guys are all going to be dizzy. Whoa, wait, what happened here? All right, I'm going to take you to the ironing board. I just have to move one camera. And I try to do it when you're not on because then you will really get sick. All right, I think you'll be able to see this. If not, I can put my glasses on and you guys can text me and tell me that you can't see anything. All right, I'm not there yet, so hold on a second. Okay. You ready? Now you know I'm always wearing a tank top at the office because I'm running around. But I think the camera's there. So let me know if you can see this. Yeah, it's kind of cockeyed, but you can see it, right? There's the iron. It's already hot, so we should be good. Now you go grab the fabric. By the way, I forgot to ask you guys, can you hear me okay today? Because I just I'm using a different mic, and I just curious to know if it's working okay. I guess you would have told me if I wasn't, but if I don't ask. Okay, so here's the fabric. I'll just use, this is the back side of the one I just showed you, right? Now, I've talked about this before, iron shoe. If you have an iron shoe, you can press on just about anything. There's an iron shoe on this. I'm going to give it a little steam. I have this iron pretty darn hot. Now, of course, you'd want to test yours on your fabric first before you do this. But let's just say we're going to do a cover stitch. That means you'd fold it up once. This is exactly what I'd be doing if this was my top. Give it a little steam. Use the tailor's clapper. If you don't have an iron shoe, use a press cloth or keep your iron up a little higher. So if you're going to do that, then you'd keep your iron up higher, give it some good steam, and then you can still use your clapper to give it a good crease. All right, so see what happened there? You can see that crease. Now when I go to hem, fold it like that. Now, if we're going to do a double hem, then I'd fold it over one more. And this lace has some polyester in it, by the way. So you have to be very careful. If you didn't have an iron shoe, you could actually melt the fabric. But no problem. Speaking of, by the way, there's going to be a good giveaway, hint, hint, come around Valentine's Day. So make sure you're signed up for my newsletter. You'll get information on that. Speaking of fabulous pressing systems. So I pretty much just hem the entire thing. Now, I would not hem it quite this thick, but I'm doing it just so you can see it because it's really hard when you do the same color on top. So there you go. See how nice that looks? It's folded, it stays, it's folded. And by the way, if I go to the right side of the fabric and it's folded, I'll put it on my arm. You can see this is like an inch, which I would not do an inch. I would do maybe a ½ inch. If I put this on, can you even tell that that's there? Well, if you could, you'd really need something to do because nobody would be staring at your arm saying, oh my gosh. And if they were, just wear a cute bracelet or something. But it really blends in. It doesn't look bad at all. So that's how hot of an iron you could use. So I will check some more of your questions. Make sure I'm not missing anything. So you probably want the schedule for the week too. You can hear my iron warming up. Hey, did we get rid of our pest, by the way, guys? Because if not, I'll go back and make sure I take care of that. All right, I'm just checking here to make sure that I can see all of your comments. Let's see. Heidi, what brand ironing board cover? It's not an ironing board cover, it's an ironing system. So there's a link on my blog if you go there for Laura Star. It's like the whole system where the fan blows up the fabric. I actually as I've been cleaning, I've been pressing some fabric. I've got a whole bin of things that I've washed just for my own. Oh, Jen, your mom's birthday's on Valentine's Day. That's great. But I have a bin that's just my fabric because a lot of times I sell fabric to all of you or give it away or things like that. Get my hair out of here. There. The bin I have it labeled already washed and dried because, time goes by and you're like, did I pre-shrink that fabric? I don't remember. Now that lace there, you really don't have to pre-shrink, at least not the champagne colored one because it's a polyester base and it won't shrink. But I almost always wash my fabric before I cut because you never know if it gets skewed. You don't want to make a whole outfit and find out the fabric maybe didn't work out so well. But usually I wash and dry all my fabric before I go. Yeah. So the schedule coming up, by the way, just see, I think I have it right here. A couple new things coming up. I cannot believe next week's February. So Thursday, for those of you that like to watch the brother shows, which is tomorrow, tomorrow we have Brenda Anderson's coming on, and she's going to show how to do, I think it's quilting ruler work. Yeah, I don't think that is what it is. Quilting ruler work, which would be very cool. There's always something new and cool. I love to use all these applications towards my garments, so that's very fun. The next schedule, let's see, that's at noon Eastern time tomorrow. And then at 4 p.m. Eastern tomorrow is Fashion Sewing Club. And so just so you know, those of you that are in the Fashion Sewing Club, for the month of February, I've got a few cool things going on. And one of the things we're going to do is a pattern hack to the top that Karina showed, which has like a nice cowl neck. So if you've seen the top that Karina was sharing, I'm going to show you how to take a ruche tee pattern and create that pattern, and also give you some tips for draping if you're fitting it. So that'll be one of our big projects in February, amongst a few others. The serging class, I'd posted it for it to start today, and then I stopped it because I knew I had like 3 more things I had to finish this week. So some of you had asked about the serging class that's coming up. That will be in February. So keep your eye out, and I will be sure to post those dates. I'll put it out in the newsletter, of course. February's newsletter. Speaking of birthdays, by the way, anybody have a birthday this week? Just curious. Oh, yeah, I love that top too. Oh, I have one more piece of news for you. Newsflash. Okay, so the social media keeps changing their things. So if you're on YouTube and you want to not miss this show or miss the brother shows, just subscribe to the channel, because then you'll get a notification right away when I go live. Same with Facebook. You got to like the page, and then you'll get a notification. And just make sure you click on that one little arrow in Facebook that says see first, and then you won't miss anything. They keep changing these, so I'm just trying to help you out. But that's one thing. And then Blaine sent a message. I think quite a few of you had pre-ordered sewing mats. Well, he got them. He got a sample in, and we thought the color would be like a silver, like a real rich platinum with charcoal gray lettering. And he said it looked awful, and I trust his opinion. Then he ordered one that was a little bit different tint. He said it was very boring. And he said the Wolfpack is not boring. So I made the corporate decision to make it a pink. It's like almost a bright pink with white lettering. So for any reason you don't want that color, you just have to let Blaine know. But he's ordering them. They're coming in. I think that you'll like the color. The contrast of the pink with your white machines will look great. And it'll also look good on the table. So if you're not a pink person, then we'll have to consider maybe ordering another one. But that's what happened there. Yeah, the champagne did not, he said it was very boring. Can't have boring. All right, any more questions, guys? I think I could see. Yay, pink, Trisha. Yeah, hey, Trisha, by the way, you posted an outfit this week. You looked absolutely amazing in that outfit. Oh, wait. Okay, so let me bring this up while we're here. I think it might, I'll see if I can find that photo too. Here's Karina. So now you know why I was working on the top that you saw me working on in the back. This is the weave fabric. The one I was working on there is the multi-fabric. But isn't this cool? So she made the leggings, just like we showed in Fashion Sewing Club with the strip down the side, and then made the tank top out of it. Karina, is that you even have an exercise bike there? That's pretty good. And then she put the little pocket, and I love the thread that she used for that. So if you're in, all those videos are in the Fashion Sewing Club, by the way, how to do those pattern hacks. And also I showed some on It's So Easy as well. But that looked great. That got me in the mood to make another top. And then there was a couple more here. Oh, I think this is the one. Helen. So this is the one where Helen said the sleeves are too long. So I'm going to using my mouse here to show you how to fix this. So on this right here, make it a little bigger. If you just cut off your cuff, try on your cuff and just make it as long as you want it. If you don't want your cuff to be scrunched a little bit, then just cut it to where you want it. Leave yourself like a 3/8 of an inch seam allowance is fine. And then bring your top down and pin that to the cuff. And you can cut that up as much as you need. If you cut it up too much, you might have to take in that seam just a little bit so it matches your cuff. But it's kind of easing, the fabric's easing to the cuff anyways. But I have to tell you, that is a stinking cute top, and I love, 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 love the neckline with the stripes, the way that the stripes look on that. So regardless if the sleeves are a little long, I think it looks fantastic. Okay, there's a couple more in here. Here we go. D. This looks great on you. I love this. It even matches your phone. How awesome is that? I love this. I love the fabric. I love the neckline. I have 3 of your patterns, but not brave enough to make one. What, Rhonda? Oh my gosh, we're going to have another sew along or something because you got to cut those patterns out. They're easy. Most of them are easy. The jackets get a little more complicated, but the knits are really easy. Caroline, what do you have to say here? Oh, well, thank you, Caroline. Welcome to Is that better? That probably just means that my battery went out. Oh, she sure did. Thanks, guys. At least you had a visual going on, right? All right, let me get this out of here. Well, at least the battery went out at the end. I was thinking I should have probably changed that. Good now? Yay. All right. Perfect. All right, and I think there was just a couple more. There it is. I love this. I love your matching mask. Super cute. Skirt's adorable, by the way. And the top turned out great. I remember when you were sewing that in Chicago. So nice job. Beautiful. So, all right, guys. Well, that's about it. So that's the schedule for the week. If you're not signed up for my newsletter, go to angelawolf.com. I think there is, I got a banner in here somewhere so you can see that. It's really easy, though. Someone asked, how do you spell your name? It's just W-O-L-F. That's it. Angela Wolf. If you go there, that's where everything is. And I have one more for you. There you go. That's my blog. So this is where I'm actually putting things to make sure that you can actually go on and watch past episodes to make it easy for you as well. That and the Fashion Sewing Club. All right, any other questions for me, guys? Are we good? Yeah, Amy's is super cute. What is this one? Elizabeth. Does your pattern tell you what kind of fabric to use? Yeah, Elizabeth, it does. But you know what? In the Angela of Patterns group, just ask a question and I can help, and a lot of people help. So but it'll say, usually my patterns will say like Lacy knit top or whatever, Bella knit top. So you'll know if it's a knit or a woven. Everyone thought they were losing their own sound. I guess it was my batteries, guys, my batteries. All right, so I'm going back to clean. I'll send a photo. I'll put a photo on Instagram and in our group. It's looking pretty good over there. I gotta say, hopefully it'll be better by tomorrow, and then my camera will be angled a different direction. But for now, you're angled at the clean corner. All right, everybody, have a wonderful week, and watch your newsletter for some exciting things coming. All right, see you, everyone. Thanks, Esther. Have a wonderful day.